This video won't be how to meditate, but it will describe why we should meditate. I just look around today and I see this pervasive depression and seemingly hanging over so many people's heads, this darkness, this misery. And it's like the human race is one giant woe is me entity. Like we want extraterrestrials to come and save us from ourselves, like we're a planet full of victims. And it's just all of this type A personality. If you don't know what that means, type A is basically a personality type where they do kick ass all day every day. They fill up their schedules. They do one thing after another. They take on one thing, even if their workload's already kind of overwhelming. They're the type that are easily stressed out, irascible, which means quick to anger. That whole sort of thing. And unfortunately, a lot of this often bleeds into other people's lives. It affects other people. They pass these traits on to other people, and it becomes the norm. And we're all moving so fast all day, every day. We're all like this and just go, 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 especially in American society. Good Lord. That is just, I think that's one thing that's overlooked that is such a source of all of this misery that all of us seem to feel, that seems to be so prevalent, seems to be almost ubiquitous, as if it was like something in the air itself. Now, of course, this is an oversimplification. There's more to the picture than just this, but I think this is vastly overlooked. It's just we're inculcated with these type A traits throughout childhood. It starts early on in school. You get up at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. You go to school for 7, 8 hours a day. You come home with all this homework, and it gradually increases more and more until you get up to high school and even beyond then in college. You're encouraged to do extracurricular activities on that time. You're also encouraged to take on a part-time job. I mean, if you think about it, the average teenager in many cases has twice as many hours of obligation as the average adult. Not all the time. I'll break that down later in a future video, but they just work so much, and it's, if you think about it, it's essentially a factory. You create all these type A personalities, you pump them out into the society, and you create this false dichotomy, which is basically those who follow every single thing and are willing to put in 80 to 90-hour work weeks consistent of going to class, studying, working part-time jobs, doing extracurricular activities, etc. Those are the successful kids. And anybody who refuses to do one thing, you attach the convenient label of them being a rebel. I mean, forget trying to live your life, right? They just want you to have every single hour filled up so you get used to it, so you don't question it, so you kind of forget who you are. And even if you did get a day off, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself because you don't remember anything that you like to do. And it's just instructors, they don't understand. The thing is, with students, when they're young, anything written on the chalkboard may be regarded as sacred. They could be convinced of anything. Their minds are essentially blank slates, not with just religion, but with any type of personality traits you want them to be. And if you want to develop a culture of type A personalities, well, it's easy as hell. And it's the all those long hours, so a strenuous obligation coupled with high expectation, they wonder why so many people commit suicide because the expectations are so high. I mean, of course, that's not the only factor, but I think it's one that's vastly overlooked. And the ones that do make it, they're just rutting, and their prowess reminds me of rain in a windy storm where it's like coming down at a 45-degree angle at extremely high speed, and it's just, and they're like that all the time. And it's just everything about them is about their lives is obligation. You ask these people what they're doing with their lives, and the one word that invariably comes up in conversation is work. It's never anything else. This is essentially a factory for all other factories if you think about it. Ever since childhood, the school, the college, and the initial workplace development, it's a factory to churn out type A's to help any other industry out there that wants to move fast and have that kind of lifestyle to increase productivity and efficiency. And the bad part is nobody finds any time for each other. Do you ever notice how we're easily finding another obligation to pile on to our things, but we have trouble finding time for people? And it's not just with our friends, it's with families and their children too. I mean, when you're a kid, you might ask for 5 more minutes of playtime from mommy and daddy before they put I gotta watch my phrasing, before they put you to bed. But later on in life, your kids want to play with you. You ask for 5 more minutes to work on the currently assignment you're to work on the assignment you're currently working on before you go and play with them. I mean, am I wrong about that? The 5 minutes has just changed thing, just changed. And sitting and breathing, the meditation, this is why we should meditate. This is why we should slow down. This is why we should breathe. Not only to stop stressing ourselves out so much and try to enjoy our lives more and appreciate the simple things, to get rid of this like this pervasive depression, this misery, but also to connect with each other again. And the ironic thing is, people laugh at those who meditate, at those who sit and breathe, despite the fact that, they kneel and pray. It's essentially the same thing. It's just one's kind of external and meditation's more internal, but that's beside the point. And it's amazing. Running around and doing everything is easy. Sitting still is hard. That's the irony. And it never ever stops. Perfection is on everyone's level. When it comes people, they're always saying look up. I have the feeling that's because they're essentially on a doing what I call a step ladder practice. I got this from one of my meditation books. They're always on a step ladder. They're always looking up to move up to the next rung. They're never satisfied with where they currently are. They're looking up just so they can move up. And when they finally do, when they finally get through all that hard shit and they make it to the next rank, well, by that time, they're already looking up to the next rung, saying, when can I move up again? And if there's nothing there, they'll make something there. They'll construct their own ladder. They become president of their company. They'll find another way to kind of increase their rank, so to speak. And it's just, they never turn around and enjoy the view. They never really notice how high they've climbed. As I say, numbers are not finite. People can always invent another level to move up to. I mean, we learn for arrogance and opulence. We try and stand as tall as the houses that we build, which are like 3 stories, sometimes bigger, and boast about our income and all that shit. Let me think. There was one other thing I wanted to say on this. Hold on. I wrote a little outline here. Let me look at it real fast. Uh, It's and it's all about how we always say some people are radiant, how they get off light, how they illuminate the world, and how they inspire others. Well, that's not what most people give off. They both like give off a flashing neon light, that kind of arrogance. They always want to appear better than everyone else. They always want to appear to be the best, etc. That kind of thing. And it's just people have more letters after their name indicating all their different things of status. There's more letters there than in their full name, first, middle, and last. And everybody's always looking to add on the next thing. And it takes longer to read off all of these different um, titles, whether they might be PhD, MD, DDS, or all the different thousands that come with each profession. I mean, it's kind of saturating and ridiculous if you ask me. And this comes with other consequences too, besides just those who are actually in this game and play it very well. I mean, beginners feel put to shame for their mistakes. I mean, mistakes are an integral part of the learning process for anything, but yet they're always just mistakes are inevitable, yet we shame people for it. I really don't have much else to say on that, but if you think about it, it's just inherently ridiculous. Those who are damaged, well, they're going to wear a lot more than normal clothing on the outside to blend in. They're going to put all that stuff on the side. They're going to internalize it, and that's very, very dangerous. Let me think here. What else is there to say? Anybody that thinks outside the box is just they feel like they're going to have thousands of eyes on them in public and all that stuff, which takes being put on camera to another level. And they're going to grow paranoid, and anybody that tries to be different in any way, shape, or form, they're scolded, deemed lazy or rebellious or degenerate or whatever label you want to attach to them, and then they're dragged through the manufacturing process anyway. And it doesn't toughen them up, not really, because they're still vulnerable, they're still hurt, they're just internalizing it, everything, and some of that it's eventually going to explode. It doesn't toughen them up, it just roughens them up, and it's just they become like everybody else. And if you think about it, we often use the metaphor of becoming a drop in the bucket. You can imagine just like instead like a glass jug or something like that, and this person is in one drop of water, and they're slowly being pulled down towards the hole. They can try and struggle all they want, but inevitably gravity is going to drag them down, put them in that the water with everything else at the bottom of the pot, and soon enough, whatever causes the whole jug to move around, whatever metaphor you want to do it, whether it's the system, the invisible hand of the market, etc., and they're just going to swish and slosh with the whole and start running with everybody else, and it's going to be all day, every day, and it's just they've lost their identity, and it really is a shame. All right, this video is already reaching 10 and a half minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and split this into two parts.